Hi, folks. Dr. Leitner here again, and I apologize for that interruption. When I go and type on the screen, sometimes it stops the recording. So, what I've done here is gone ahead and put in the rhyme scheme, and you have to hear the rhymes. You have to first of all read it out loud, and then look very carefully at the end words, because sometimes a poet will sneak a rhyme in there when you're not expecting it. But this is a classic Italian sonnet format, ABBA, ABBA, and for the first 8 lines, and then the last 6 lines are CDD, CEE. And you can see the letters correspond to rhymes. So hind is A, behind is A, mind is A. We would say wind here, but okay, he's actually kind of playing with the way you say this word. Looks like wind, but it's actually wind. But we'll call it a rhyme for the sake of the structure here, because he's clearly paying attention to the structure, even if it's not exact. And this is 1577, so perhaps they said the word wind a little differently back then. But in any case, the C rhyme here, doubt, is picked up again with about. So that's how you write out rhyme schemes. The letters correspond to the same the same sound. Okay. And this ABBA, this is called this structure is called kissing rhyme, or envelope rhyme, because the two middle rhymes are right next to each other, and the second set of 4 lines, the 2 A's are next to each other, so they're kissing. They're right next to each other. Or it's called an envelope or envelope rhyme, because it's the 2 middle ones are kind of enclosed by the top and the bottom. At any rate, look at the rhyme scheme. Okay, look for a rhyme scheme. You're typically going to see sets of 4 and maybe some couplets in the sprinkled through there. So look for that structure. Now, not all sonnets are going to rhyme. So especially in the more recent sonnets, this is Party Dress for a Firstborn by Rita Dove, who was a poet laureate of the United States for a while. And what she's done is, just looking at the poem, you can see she has put a stanza break here after line 8 to really emphasize, hey, there's a turn here. Do not miss it. I don't think we would miss it, but she actually spaces out the poem visually so that to make it obvious. And what I'll do is I'll read this poem, and I'll kind of break it down according to what I think Miss Dove is doing here. So this is Party Dress for a Firstborn. Headless girl, so ill at ease on the bed. I know, if you could, what you're thinking of. Nothing. I used to think that too whenever I sat down to a full plate or unwittingly stepped on an ant. When I ran to my mother, waiting, radiant as a cornstalk at the edge of the field. Nothing else mattered. The world stood still. Tonight men stride like elegant scissors across the lawn to the women arrayed there, petals waiting to loosen. When I step out, disguised in your blushing skin, they will nudge each other to get a peek, and I will smile, all the while wishing them dead. Mother's calling. Stand up. It will be our secret. Okay, this poem seems a little odd until you figure out that what is the situation here? Well, the situation is this girl she's right in between being a girl and becoming a woman. And she is actually talking to a dress. She's talking to a dress that's lying on the bed. So the you here is the dress. And so when she says headless girl, so ill at ease on the bed, I know, if you could, what you're thinking of. She's looking at the dress, and it's like it has like a collar or something, but there's no one in the dress, so it's headless. And so But that headless also kind of ties into the fact that before, when she was a girl, she didn't really think about things. She just kind of existed. She just kind of went through the world, always living in the present moment. And that's what the world stood still part is. But the turn of this is when she's becoming a woman, she's got to put on this stupid dress, and she's got to have all these sleazy guys leer at her at this party. And, understandably, she's really not looking forward to that. So that's what the second part is. The first part is about her as a girl. The second part is about her becoming a woman and, not particularly enjoying this part of it. And she's, but she's, what kind of girl is this? Well, this is clearly a pretty confident girl, because she's saying, I'm going to go through this, I'll play this role, but you and I, talking to the dress, we're going to have this secret that we're not really going to play the game that they want us to play. But so many neat lines in here. The men like elegant scissors, so that's their kind of creased pants or whatever they're wearing. This seems like it's part of a different time, like maybe it's from the 30s or 40s or 50s or something. But when I step out disguised in your blushing skin, so it's this kind of, maybe it's a pink colored dress, so that, at the end you kind of have this moment where the mother's calling, stand up, meaning, okay, I've got to put you on now. But it's just a beautiful moment, and you'll find a lot of sonnets are like that, where it's like the person has kind of taken a moment of their life or a particular situation, and they're putting it into a poetic form. This sonnet definitely has a nice, strong, obvious turn to it. It doesn't have a rhyme scheme, not one that I can think of. There's a few rhymes kind of squeezed in there, ant and radiant maybe, maybe field and still a little bit, lawn and loosen, I don't know, peak and secret, maybe a rhyme there, but there's definitely not a form. She's playing with sounds, no doubt about that, but there is not a form in terms of a rhyme scheme. So, guys, these are two poems I like a lot. I hope you enjoyed that. This is the kind of, you don't have to necessarily do the exact same kind of analysis, but, looking at the poems, looking at what's interesting, looking at the situation, and trying to figure out what the theme of the poem is. And the theme of this poem, I would just say simply is, this is a girl who is growing up and is kind of strong in herself, but she's going to live her own life, and she's not going to, live as kind of an object of men's, affections or men's gaze. So the theme might be something like, be yourself and don't worry about what other people think of you. That could be a theme. Another theme you could say is, resist the people who are trying to sexualize you. That could be another theme. All right. Thanks very much for your time, and I hope to, looking forward to your analysis for this module.